Hey, party people, what up? And welcome to another edition of Let's Talk About. What are we going to talk about today? Eh, whatever floats from my boat and whatever gets thought and stuck in my head. And today, shout out to Fresh and Fit, the topic of conversation will be one Myron games. This episode, we're going to attempt to go into his head and basically see what's going on. Now, he had a video that he had on today that was uploaded today, and he kicked off 10 girls. He kicked 10 girls off the podcast. Why did he do that? Well, without any further ado or delay, let's find out.
To the stream. Welcome. All right, and we are live. What's up, guys? Welcome. Hold on, let me mute this tab. To the stream. Welcome. All right, and we are. Sorry about that. I'm using guys. Sorry for the delay here. I literally had to use a whole other thing with I had to use Restream Studio. Yo, Bills, can you help me real quick with this? Sorry, chat. See, as you guys can see, I
We're gonna
got.
go by this one here. He's gonna have a bit of a problem, and he does fix it. Let's see where we are.
At this point, a lot of people died, so we don't want their deaths in vain, so we keep fighting. And I was like, well, and she was like,
For context, he's talking about now the situation led up to him kicking all 10 girls off the podcast, which I believe was like the night before, last night. Let's get back into it.
yeah, someone in my family died. So I was like, well, so let me get this straight. You want them to keep fighting and have other people's family members get killed because your family members got killed. And literally, guys, the air got sucked out the room. Extremely awkward for a lot of the girls that were there, right? Because you could tell that she was extremely uncomfortable, but I said it like it was. You're literally saying right now that you think it's better to have more people fight and die because you don't want the people that already died to die in vain. Though I see the logic in what you're saying, the most pragmatic approach is to simply just come to a negotiation.
Full disclosure, I do rock with Myron, but in this conversation, in this topic, I tend to politely disagree. Simply because, in the context of the war between Russia and Ukraine, the Ukraine is fighting for its existence. Russia wants to annex. Russia actually wants Ukraine to expand its sphere of influence. And Ukraine right now is the only one that's between them and getting close to encroaching on NATO territory and starting even more broad conflict. And let's be honest. And again, geopolitics isn't normally my um, strong suit. I don't really talk about it, but I do read and see about it enough to form an opinion. And my opinion is thus: if, and this an if, Russia is successful in annexing the rest of the Ukraine, who's to say what's next? Because Judging from the rhetoric, stuff like that you hear from Putin, he won't just stop with Ukraine. And remember, this whole war was started because he felt that Ukrainians were Nazis, modern day Nazis. They weren't bothering anybody. They weren't doing anything. They were simply, and they were already ticked off about him annexing Crimea, and they wanted it back, but they really wasn't doing too much. But then he said, I want Ukraine." Rolled in Ukraine, took a whole bunch of that, and Ukraine said, "Nah, no, this won't stand." And thanks to their Western allies, they're able to procure weapons to help push them back. Now, the the current situation in Ukraine, which is saying that the the two biggest influencers in the region, which is the United States and Great Britain, have said you can use it up to the Russian border, but you can't use it inside the Russian border. And they do that because they don't want to risk getting into a conversation with Russia. But here's the deal: Russia has no compunctions on doing that. If they think they can get away with it, they're going to do it. If they don't think they can get away with it, but if they think it's going to work out in their best interest, they're going to do it. This is what the whole Ukraine situation is about. They thought we're going to roll in there and we're going to take Ukraine in about 3 days. And no one's going to get hurt, and because they're going to welcome us as liberators, and we're just going to take over. Where Ukraine said, no, 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 bro. They said, no, that ain't happening. Let's get back to it.
And then I said what everyone else is too scared to tell this girl. I said, you have no chance. Russia is superior to Ukraine in every way, military.
No. Actually, no, that's not. What he's saying is true from a manpower point of view. Russia is bigger and has more people. What you fail to recognize is the fact that a lot of those conscripts in the army don't want this fight. People are defecting every day. People are laying down their arms and surrendering in droves. You don't do that if you think you're going to win. You don't think you're going to do that if you feel that you are in the right. You don't do that at all. You're going to fight to the end because you feel that you're right. But they're not doing that. How many citizens of conscripting age have fled Russia? And also, let's not forget, the Ukraine has fired deep into Russia with their own missiles and drone strikes. They brought the fight to Russia's doorstep. Actually, I would say that they brought the fight into the living room, which wasn't supposed to happen. Here are the conquering heroes and all that nonsense. What happened to it? What he says on his face is true. Russia is bigger. They have more weapons. They have more manpower. However, their weapons that you've seen are iffy at the best of times. And that's because of an old Russian saying that says, they pretend to pay us So we pretend to work. And that's where you get all that. That's where you get a lot of that faulty gear and stuff. That and then throw on top of it the corruption at the top, where they're gonna cut corners and throw together anything and take the money for themselves, and you get the message that you're in. Russia is a paper tiger, or in their vernacular, a paper bear. It is what it is. Let's get back to it.
Early. Mic drop. And she got mad, uncomfortable. Oh. You know what I mean? This guy, huge D-low, slow. Dude, it is live, you idiot. And me calling you an idiot is how you know it's live. On Twitch. Anyway. So, anyway. So obviously, she didn't like that. And I was like, it's the truth. You guys can't win. The only reason you guys are even still in this conflict is because we are giving you guys billions of dollars to fight in this war. And if it wasn't for us, Putin would have taken you guys in 3 days.
I find no fault in his logic there. We are the reason why they're still in that fight. And if we ever give the okay for them to launch deep into Russia, it's done. It is what it is.
Come on, man. Facts are facts, bro. Facts are facts. Because it's not just Russia against Ukraine. It's Russia versus Ukraine versus United States versus the UK versus all of fucking NATO. And they still were able to get an impressive amount of land. They pretty much control all of eastern Ukraine, guys.
That is a falsehood. That is false. They took what they took during the first 3 to 4 days of the campaign. Once they started getting arms and support from the NATO from NATO, they pretty much ground to a halt. Actually, they were ground to a halt before that because they got stuck in the mud and everything like that. The huge logistic train that was coming into Kiev got bogged in the mud and got stuck, and then Ukraine came and blew them all up. So, no. And once again, I like these guys. I like this guy. I like Fresh and Fit. A lot of things that they say, I rock with. But when it comes to things like geopolitics, that's where we diverge. And I still rock with them all in all. I got friends who I don't agree with on political stuff like that. One of my best friends is a Republican. And I ain't gonna lie, full disclosure, for a while I wouldn't talk to him. Because we were that far apart ideologically, excuse me. We were that far apart. We talk now, and so it's like we never stop talking. I just make sure that politics doesn't come up, and we're fine. But you can say things like that. That don't make it true just because you said it. You don't poke a bear with a stick, but you don't mess with a bee's nest either, or a hornet's nest. Neither one of them is a good look for you. Let's get back to it.
Look, I'll show y'all. I did a podcast with Jackson Hinkle about this shit, right? So here is Ukraine, right? all this, and she's from this area, Donetsk, right? Whatever the fuck it's pronounced. Like, all of this, bro, they got it, man. Like, pretty much all this shit, they got it. Not to mention they have Crimea as well, the peninsula, right? So I'm just saying what it is. Like, yo, y'all lost. It's over. Like, you guys can't beat Russia. Russia has more nukes than we do. They are a superpower.
Again, not some. I don't agree. Do they have more nukes than us? Yes. Do they all work? It's highly, highly suspect at this point. Just a couple days ago, their newest rocket that they had, the launched ICBMs, blew up on liftoff. Actually, no, I don't even think it blew up on liftoff. It blew up in the silo. And the reason why it wasn't worse than what it was that it wasn't armed with a nuclear warhead. It blew up. And I'm betting that's not the only thing they're having problems with. Because the defense contractors, the people up top, are skimming money and cutting corners. Does everybody do that? Pretty much, but not to the point, not to the extent that Russia is getting it done by. Their planes are getting shot down out the sky. Ukraine-made UAVs are flying under the radar and for the most part smashing into their targets. Moscow has been hit several times. They've hit military targets. They've hit ammunition dumps. They've hit airports and airstrips. This doesn't look like they're winning. As a matter of fact, you could say they're on their back feet. Can they turn it around? It's definitely possible. Is it probable? Don't know. Don't see it. Another thing that Russia's doing that no one's talking about, they've targeted civilian infrastructure, schools, hospitals, libraries, things like that, residential areas. Those are war crimes, people. Those are war crimes. The Hague has got a warrant out for Vladimir Putin. That's how bad that is. Are they going to get him? Doubt it. Because he won't fly westward. He stays in his little thing, his little gulag, and he flies to talk to people like in China, and then he goes down south to Iran and talk to them. And even China's like, you gotta stop with all this rhetoric with nuclear strikes and things like that. That's not a good look. So you are hearing the cracks in the armor. It's just not a matter of, do we have the will to call them out on it? Now, I'm just as nervous about this as anybody else because I don't want to go up in a mushroom cloud. But at some point, something has to be done about this man. Something has to be done. And now it's looking like you got the oligarchs in Russia that are now mad at him because they're losing money hand over fist because their money has been frozen. And in some cases, it's been turned over to Ukraine to help with their war effort. Let's get back to it.
Okay? And she didn't like that. Obviously, we transitioned into another topic, and she was like, she obviously didn't like that. and I saw her like whisper something to the girl. Oh, and then she also talked about how like she did a video where it got a lot of views because she like put blood on herself and she brought like awareness to the conflict. And I'm like, bruh. And the other girls on the thing were like, oh well, you don't know what she's been through, blah blah blah. And I'm like, yo, she hasn't been through shit. She fled the country. She literally fled the country when the conflict happened.
Okay, I gotta rewind a little bit because I just saw something in the comments.
Like that. Obviously, we transitioned into another topic, and you know, she was like, she obviously didn't like that, and I saw her like,
okay, this predator, not to mention the U.S. is planning on sending a large missile, and then Michael Medley says all the behind-the-scenes support for Ukraine is BS. Excuse you? And then I don't know if I can get to it real quick. One second. Oh, this is Robbie Rome. I'm with Russia too. Then get your fucking ass over there. You in Russia, you pick up on that weapon and you go fight him. Because I ain't fighting. It literally is that simple. I'm not fighting. And I'm not with Russia because I'm not with bullies. And Russia is nothing but a great big bully. So you can say what you want about it. But it's not over. Russia wants you to think it's over so they can just roll up and take what they want. And that's one of the reasons why they want Trump in there. Because Trump was already said that he's going to stop the fighting. What he's going to do is he's going to stop with the aid and make them concede to whatever they have before the ceasefire, they get to keep. Which makes a mockery of everything that they offer. And that's what they're fighting for. Now, people have said that it's not fair that all the men are there and the women and children can leave. I could agree with that. If women want to pick up weapons, they can and they should. Will they? No. Because they can get on a plane, fly over here, and they can chill over here. While their brothers and sisters fight and die for their cause. Let's continue.
right? What is it like? This got to be like the fourth or fifth chick now at this point, right? So this isn't me being with Russia. This isn't me loving Putin. This is me saying facts are fucking facts. Russia is militarily superior to Ukraine.
Then why aren't they showing it? That's my only question. If what you're saying is true, Myron, then this war should have been over a year and a half, 2 years ago. They should have rolled through, pushed through, got to Kiev, took Kiev out, and proclaimed themselves rulers of the country. It hasn't happened, and that stopped before we started giving them help. Before we started giving them help. So before all the bombs went off, that's what you were hearing. Let's continue.
The only reason we even have a conflict going on right now is because NATO and the United States is intervening and giving Ukraine the money and resources to do what they're going to do. But here's the problem. They don't have the soldiers to fucking do what they're supposed to do because 500,000 have already died, right?
And again, yes, that's true. That is true. However, I don't know if you've noticed it, but the United States doesn't have a big standing army anymore. They're not fighting bigger. They're fighting smarter. All the high-tech weaponry and things like that and gadgets and things like that that we enjoy and we're using, that we're seeing field tested in Ukraine right now, because that's what that is. It's a great big field test as far as the United States is concerned. Does this work? I don't know. Give some to Ukraine and let's see if it works. Let them have it and we'll see what we get.
So to sit there and say, oh, we need to keep fighting is futile because you guys can't win. You can't win. Okay, this is a war of attrition, and Ukraine unfortunately has not enough soldiers to go into it, but Russia does, and they have the equipment and time to do it too.
No, they don't. They're at the point where they're actually recruiting fighters from other countries. That by itself should tell you that their resource pool in their own country is dangerously thin. You got conscripts there that were sent out with no rations, no food, and they were lied to. You don't even go. We're going out there just for field exercises. They were sent to battle and woefully inadequately unprepared for it. And full disclosure, I'm not for them. I'm not for this war either. Normally I'd be like live and let live. But Russia doesn't want to hear it. So if we get smacked in the face, blow up a fist and knock the mother effer out. We didn't start this fight, but man, oh man, we're going to finish it. And judging from some of the things that I've read, Russia, after this war, win or lose, Russia will not be a factor for years. Because they're going to have to rebuild all their infrastructure, retool all their military apparatus, and get more people to fight. And I don't see that happening. What, so you're going to lie to us and send us into another conflict under the guise of it's a training exercise? That's a hard no for me. I'm going to pass.
So it is what it is. So she gets all butthurt, right, saying that I did this whole thing where I was, she says this bullshit about how she was, she did a video on Instagram where she had blood on herself and she's bringing awareness. Bruh, the fuck out of here. How does that help? Honestly, like, how does you putting blood on yourself and say, oh, to help Ukraine? How does that do anything? All you're doing is pushing more propaganda to substantiate a war that you're losing. Dummy. Stupid. And of course,
I don't know about the losing part, but she doesn't need to be doing stuff with blood or stuff. That's hyperbole. That is rhetoric, and there's no place for it. So we are in agreement on that.
You're in a stupid situation where you're saying dumb shit like this because you're not on the line. Your life isn't in danger. You're not the one taking bullets over the head. You're not the one shooting to keep yourself alive. You're not. You fled the country as soon as Russia invaded. Get the fuck out of here. She's another one of these dumb chicks that live in the United States, haven't been in Ukraine for years, and is speaking from a position of privilege saying, no, we got to keep fighting. Shut up. Shut the fuck.
Can't argue with the man. She has no skin in the game, so why is she talking? And that's what I'm talking about. On the logistics and outcome of the war, he and I differ. But things you're talking about, like with this rush, like with the Ukrainian girl, talking from a position of privilege, I agree with you. A little bit more.
Fuck up, stupid. You don't got skin in the game, and this is precisely why I say all the time, repeal the 19th. Because they don't know what war is. They don't know what conflict is, and they don't know the capability of violence from other men. Okay? So, everyone that's advocating for this war, Zelensky, stupid bimbos that are here in Miami living their best life, because that's who's advocating for the war, by the way. The stupid liberals that don't know what's going on, Zelensky, and the dumb bimbos that are here in the United States that
I'm not too thrilled with the liberal thing they throws around either, like libtards and stuff like that. I'm not for that either. So I could just easily start calling them Republicans. That's it. Just as easy. But because I was raised better, I choose not to.
don't know what the fuck is going on. They're the ones advocating for the war because they don't got skin in the game. This war needs to be ended. Trump is going to more than likely give Putin the land that he's already taken over, which we just described. Promise no more NATO expansion, and we could be done with this fucking thing. And that's it. No more.
No. Because if there's no more NATO expansion, the reason why he wants no NATO expansion, because the more people, more countries sign up for it, the less room that Putin has to maneuver in. If Ukraine wins the conflict and they do sign up for NATO, that's going to put NATO pretty much at his doorstep. Finland's already signed up for it, so they're there. And hopefully, Trump won't win. And that's a story for another podcast and another day. But let's see if we can get to... Okay, I think this is where he kicks him out.
So don't worry. I'm going to give y'all that sauce for this fucking bullshit that went down earlier. All right, so here's the clip right here. Shout out to my clipper, Myron Gaines. He's one of my guys.
Gave the response.
Yeah. How about this?
Okay,
So I made a statement, and then this dumb chick in the back says something.
to be honest, I don't really give a fuck.
I know exactly. So this is
That's
why.
And this is like the entitlement that like these girls have. Shout out to Speedy 2 DNR subscriber Prime. Shout out to you, bro. Guys, use Prime to subscribe, so you don't gotta pay to get the ads. And if you're a brokey, go ahead and type in you're a brokey, and people help them out.
I gave the response.
Yeah.
How about this? You get the fuck off the show.
Yeah.
How about that? Yeah, since you don't give a fuck, get the fuck off the show. Mind you, guys, this is after like 2 hours of me talking to these girls. So, okay, let me set this shit up, right? I was explaining to them how, which like 10 of the girls on this panel, all these girls on the panel are on OnlyFans, by the way. The only girl that isn't on OnlyFans is this chick right here, right next to me, right? She's the only one. And she's like a 30-year-old chick that like traveled the world or whatever.
If you get fucked.
She a thought, right? So I was explaining to them because they all have pretty high standards. I was like, bro, if you do sex work as a female, you no longer qualify for a higher status or attractive man.
True. This is true. I have no fault with his not care.
And I gave an analogy. I said, a woman that does OnlyFans or does sex work is the equivalent to a dude that's homeless. A dude that's homeless can't sit there and demand a bad bitch. Like, he just can't. And I asked him, yo, if I'm a bum and I'm fat and I smell, can I walk around and say, oh, I deserve a bad bitch? All of them said no. And I was like, cool. That's exactly what you are as a fucking OnlyFans model. That's the functional equivalent, right? But as usual, girls like this lack critical thinking skills. They're stupid. They're fucking stupid. Let's just call it what it is. Dumb as fuck. Right? So they take my analogy and can't understand. And I was like, yeah, guys don't want 304s. Oh, well, that's insecure. Really? Dummy. This chick right here, right? From fucking Portland. That's insecure. Mind you, earlier in the show, we did a fucking calculator with her. She wanted a guy that makes, that's 20 to 40 years old, making 100K per year, 6 foot as her bare fucking minimum. So I was like, all right. Mind you, she's a stripper and an OnlyFans model. So
you must, if you watch this at all, or you're a fan of either his channel or my channel, you know how this is going to end. Then the woman is not going to find what she wants.
all right, let me get this straight. You want a guy, and we did the percentage. Less than 1%, it was like 0.22223% of the male population matches her requirements. So I'm like,
and that's just the body. That's not taking into consideration things like, are they attractive? Do they smell good? Do they speak well? Do they look good? That sort of thing. That's just bodies, bare minimum. When you factor in that, it's even less than that. And most importantly, someone that the woman actually wants. That's going to make him even more rare.
all right, so you want a dude that's like less than 1%, right? But in return, he gets a used up 304, right? But let's go back to the whole insecure thing. She says, you're insecure for not wanting a girl that does OF or does some type of sex work. And I'm like, okay, how about this? You're insecure for wanting a guy that's taller than you, makes more money than you. You're a short, insecure idiot, and you're broke. What? Yeah, you're right. Sounds stupid, doesn't it? It does sound stupid. Because I'm over here saying you're insecure for your sexual standards. And she was like, yeah, that doesn't make sense. I was like, yeah, you dumb bitch. It doesn't make sense because you can't tell someone that they're insecure because of their fucking standards. Why is it that when a man says, I don't want a whore, he's looked at as insecure? But if a woman says, I don't want a short guy that's broke, she knows her worth. What the fuck is going on in this world? I'm one of the few people on the internet that's willing to say the fucking truth and call out the lunacy of female nature. What they want is a standard. What you want is insecure and discrimination. Fuck that shit. Fuck that. I'm not letting these hoes get away with this shit no more. Fuck you. You 304s. You're a fucking sex worker. You dated a drug dealer for years. And you're trying to sit here and dictate to me that I'm insecure for not wanting a 304 like you? This is the world that we're in.
I find no further logic there. This is the world we live in. Where it seems that the woman has all the upper hand and men are just supposed to just grin and bear it. And I got news for you. They're not grinning and bearing it anymore. It's late. They're late to the party, but they're here. And they're making themselves known.
This is the world that we are in, gentlemen. I have a panel of fucking sex workers that literally demand and command a top-tier male. That is ridiculous. That is me being a fat piece of shit standing in front of 7-Eleven trying to hustle some quarters from motherfuckers saying I deserve a top-tier bitch. That's bad. No, I don't. Nothing on earth am I entitled to. I must work for it. I must earn it. All right?
I got an idea. They want true equality? Give it to them. Give it to them. Make them work for what they want. make them work for it. It literally is that simple. Let them, once they see how hard we actually have it, because now they have it that way, it'll turn around. No, I don't see that happening because there's a simp epidemic that we're dealing with. And you got a whole bunch of guys out there who will do anything, and I mean anything, to even have the appearance of having sex. Some of us have it, some of us don't. It is what it is.
So I'll be damned if these 304s come in and try to tell me that my standards make me insecure. No. If you make certain decisions in your life as a woman, you have forfeited the privilege of a higher status man. One more time. For all these idiots, if your sister's in the room, if your girlfriend's in the room, I don't give a fuck if your mom is in the room. Turn me up right now. If you make certain decisions in your life as a woman, namely being involved in sex work or doing some type of promiscuous activity, you have forfeited the privilege, because it's a privilege, to be with a higher status man. You bitches aren't entitled to shit. And the reason why I have such little respect for whores is because of this. If you see someone, right, and they come from an affluent family, they were given everything. They were born with a silver spoon in their mouth. At 18 years old, they got $5 million given to them, right? Hand-me-down, whatever the fuck, trust fund. Meanwhile, you had to work to earn your $5 million, and you see each other 20 years later at a fucking school reunion, and that person lost all their money. Would you feel sorry for them? When you went ahead and got it out the mud and you earned that $5 million yourself, they pissed it away? Would you respect that person? I think I know the answer to that.
Nope.
That's a hella no.
Big fuck no. You want to know why? Because they were given the money up front and they squandered it. This is why I don't respect sluts. You're given your value up front. Your job is to preserve it. If you don't preserve it, you deserve all the ridicule and jokes that come your fucking way, you dumb bitch. Because unfortunately, actually fortunately, but unfortunately for 304s, you made a conscious decision to do these things. And if you do these things, you no longer qualify for other things. When you go ahead and you try to apply for maybe the FBI or law enforcement agency, etc., there's automatic disqualifiers. Okay? Felony convictions, drug use, failing a polygraph, not being able to pass a background check, bad financial records, etc. You want to work at a law firm, you need to have a law degree, you need to have good moral character, you got to be able to pass a background check, you got to pass the bar, all this other shit. Right? You want to be a doctor? Well, you got to get your degree, then go to med school, pass the boards, do well, maintain a certain grade point average, go do your residency, etc. Anything that's worth having takes time to acquire. It takes discipline. Right? So I'll be fucking damned if I go through life as a man and I build myself up to a certain manner and someone was given it from the beginning and they squandered their fucking gifts, bro. This is why I don't respect sluts. Because they're giving their money up front and they still choose to squander it. Every single one of these girls here, these OnlyFans chicks, can probably find a guy that is higher status, makes money, that's want to take care of them. But what did they do? They decided to be 304s. They decided to sell their body on the internet. They decided to be bimbos. Decided to be low IQ. And now they're going to have to deal with said consequences. And when someone like me, the messenger comes across and said, look, you've made some bad decisions. You probably don't qualify for the man that you think you deserve. They get angry at me and call me insecure. Fuck that. Fuck that. Are super rude and they're on your shit as a privilege, these no-name thoughts, right? And they have the fucking nerve, the gall to come in and talk shit about your shit. Get the fuck out of here, bro. So this is why I don't respect 304s, guys. Yeah, I could break down more of my castles. If you guys send me a clip or some shit that you guys want me to break down, and I can. Now, as far as the I know, look, guys, I know a lot of y'all wanted me to join the Sneeko stream and everything else like that. I know you guys did. Obviously.
Okay. Then they go into the Sneeko thing. I'm quite sure that he talks about kicking them out and actually shows it. Okay.
This got to be at Jubilee.
He winds up kicking everybody out. Can't find it, and I'm pretty much done with it. But that's what he does. Now, again, full disclosure, I am not saying that he's right all the time. There are times where I honestly think he's wrong. He thinks he's right. He's entitled to it. Just like I'm entitled for my thoughts. As long as he keeps doing what he's doing and he's not hurting anybody, have at it. I don't think I'm hurting anybody. We're just telling it like it is. He's more in your face and direct about it than me. But I honestly think that sometimes that's what women need. Because the kid gloves isn't working. The padded glove approach isn't working. The Hafiz thing that we talked about the other day, it isn't working. You can be nice to them. They're going to walk right over you and laugh and spit on you as they do it. But call them out on this shit. Put it in their face and say, this is what you're doing. This is the result of your actions. You can either stay the course and be ruined by it, or you can listen to me and try to change it. And either way, I don't care. It's on you. Say what you want about it, but Myron Gaines is needed. He's needed like we still need Kevin Samuels, rest in peace. Because they do these things, they do them for the same reason I do it. We do it because we honestly care. We honestly care. We want to see things get better. But the way things are going, it's not going to happen. So we're taking it upon ourselves to go, look, this isn't working, people. You're either going to change or you're going to die. We are, right now, I honestly think that we are past the point of no return. We are below replacement level when it comes to children. It's no longer a matter of if. It's now quickly becoming when. And with that, we're going to call it. I want to thank everybody for letting me vent. And just real quick, couple things. First thing is that shout out to Fresh and Fit and everybody over there. We rock with you over here. We have disagreements that people are going to have from time to time, but all in all, we rock with you. And switching gears, every podcast that we do, we come to you in the power of 5. Like, comment, subscribe, notify, share. 5 things together, we're unstoppable. At the very least, on your way out, like the video. This is OBJ saying peace to you all. We out.